Guys, get ready for today's 10 at 10.
And by get ready, we mean stay exactly where you're at and keep watching the show. Konnichiwa, y'all, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for February 20th of 2024. We've got some incredible trees for you today. I'm Matt, that's my brother Tim. Let's get into some new trees.
Guys, we've got low grafts of Acer Pomatum Jedo orange.
Awesome tree. I love Jedo orange, whether it's spring or fall. This one brings it for colors. Maybe one of my favorite springtime maples. It's definitely one of my favorite oranges in the fall. I love the border that it gets in the early spring with that yellowish green eye. Outstanding color pattern on a low weeping umbrella tree. Jedo orange, absolutely outstanding Japanese maple. Completely underrated too. It should be up there. It should be in a lot of top fives. Definitely should be getting utilized more as a lot of people's third or fourth tree they buy outside of like a lace leaf green or a lace leaf red. Think about Jedo orange. It really ties the room together.
Now, guys, we also have these as high grafts as well today. So we'll have some that are high grafts. These are the low grafts currently. Now, this is a tree that gets low and spreading. So it stays fairly low and cascades out. It has a really nice arching habit to it. Like Matt said, in the springtime, you get some really nice shades of red. Not your typical shade of red, but the green eye on this in the early spring is outstanding with that red on that red leaf. The fall colors being that bright orange. It's one of the best oranges of any of the lace leaves.
Get one today, Jedo orange.
Guys, next up, we got some Makawas on standards.
Check out these lollipop Makawas, as we like to call them. Absolutely love these trees. They're grafted a little bit higher up to give them a little bit of height right out the gate. Doesn't really affect the shape too much. Now, you will not get Makawa type growth below that graft, but above that graft, you're going to get all that unique density going on. I think it's a pretty cool way to grow them because you get that standard look with that density and everything you love about Maka Atusa just a little higher up.
Now, these are our 10 to 12 inch Makawa high grafts. We will be offering some 20 inches as well. Now, our 20 inches might not have as large of a head as these. I mean, these have some massive,
These
massive
are honestly ready to go 2 gallons. Great sizes in these. I mean, you can see the size on this right now. They're out of leaf, so you can imagine at least 25 to 30% increase in size once these even leaf out. Absolutely outstanding plant and some phenomenal size 1 gallons.
The trunks on these are bigger than my fingers. I mean, they're huge. We often say that that's the motor behind the plant. These are going to make ginormous dwarf Makawa Yatsubusas out there in the landscape. And if you're looking for to have a ginormous, huge dwarf Makawa Yatsubusa, these are a great way to start.
Great lollipops here. Absolutely love these. You can play with them a good bit. They're great for the container garden. They'll give you a little bit of instant height right away if you want to plant smaller plants around them. But good way to get them started.
Guys, we've got an open house coming up April 5th and April 6th. On April 5th, it's from 8 a.m. to 5, and April 6th, 8 a.m. to noon. It's going to be here at MrMaple. Cool plants and cool people. You want to be there.
We're going to have a coffee truck for some cool coffee orders. I think it's Grinders Keepers is the name of the coffee truck. We're going to have food and for breakfast and for lunch here that Friday. That's going to be with the Groovy Grease Wagon. If you guys came last year, they were a huge hit. We're bringing them back. Food is phenomenal. Make sure to check them out. You know, really support our local vendors when they come to these things like this. We love bringing in some local vendors to kind of spice things up. And also, it's just fun to have food here when we're doing it. So, guys, next up on the table, we've got Acer Pomatum Phoenix rising from the ashes this spring, sparking up that spring garden. Phoenix really brings it. It's a fun tree any season, but spring is really where this one shines.
Now, I like this one because it gives more of that coral pink in the early spring, but it's like that coral pink that's like that orange coral pink. It stands out from many of the other spring interest Japanese maples in that Coralinum group. Phoenix, a selection by Dick Vandermatt in Holland, an amazing upright, makes it a little bit like an upright shrub kind of shape. Really fun tree just to add that extra spring color.
A lot of people are looking for variances on Dissectum. I definitely tell you to check out Phoenix if you're into bonsai. A lot of people are after Benny Shidari, and that one will be coming. But guys, Phoenix, don't sleep on this one. It's a great variation, small leaf, great spring interest. It'll give you some variants to Dissectum and Shindosojo. Absolutely love this one. I think it'd be a great tree for bonsai people too, for air layers and rooted cuttings.
Next up, we have Ramona.
Awesome plant, y'all. This one really brings it for the yellows. This is a real nice yellow in the early spring, often with a pink-red border around that yellow. More of a frilly style leaf. It's almost reminiscent of Orange Dream, but with a more heavily divided leaf. Absolutely showstopper for the color patterns.
Yeah, I love what this one does. In the springtime, it leaves out as that bright orange kind of color, fades to green during the summer, and late summer you get a yellow down below, and then you get that orange on top. And so when you get that two-tone color late summer, it's probably my favorite time with Ramona. I mean, there's nothing else quite like it, where you get the yellow and you get oranges above it. It's outstanding, and it's one of those trees that the more people know this tree, the more people are going to be putting this tree in every landscape.
Tell your wife you have a favorite time with Ramona. Absolutely outstanding plant, y'all. This one typically isn't a huge plant. It's in that 6 to 8 foot range, even in 10 years. Medium grower, tends to be more multi-stemmed. Absolutely beautiful. Especially, I'm gonna tell your wife you called Ramona beautiful. All right, guys, back up on the table, we got Kermit the Frog's favorite tree, Acer palmatum, Miss Piggy.
Y'all, Miss Piggy is one of those plants that just has all this craziness happening on it. The new growth can be really fasciated, twists and curves, and can twist and curve like a pig's tail.
These are always popular for us. They're not in that Maka family, but they are a dense, small leaf green, so it fits into that category a little bit. I love how second-traded it gets. It almost looks cactus-like out of leaf, which is super unique. Absolutely a beast for heat tolerance, for durability. Again, I bring this one up a lot too, because I like when people do bonsai. I'm no expert. This would be a dope tree to see as a bonsai. It's not going to be any traditional bonsai, because it's going to break all the rules, because you're going to get foliage that comes out from all over this plant randomly, but it would be super cool to see. And I think it would be, the durability would be there for it.
I like it because it's unique and interesting when it's in leaf. It's unique and interesting when it's out of leaf. It looks almost like a cactus out there in the landscape, the way it can give this fasciated growth to it and the way it can twist and curve. In fact, most people think some of our photos look like cactuses because out of leaf, this tree is crazy. And this is a tree you should definitely be trying in your garden.
Hey, it's one you want to look at with the leaves off. Bringing in some ryusen. We've got some high grafts as well as some low grafts. These are excellent sizes. These guys are about to fall over. They're so big. Love this plant. Ryusen, absolutely amazing weeping Japanese maple.
I love ryusen because it is one of the most heavily cascading selections of any of the Japanese maples. It's extremely durable. It's a green palmate leaf, and with that heavily cascading habit, it gives a real soft feel that's different from your typical lace leaf with that heavily cascading habit.
Shout out to Kobayashi Momiji in Japan. They've been around for over 300 years. Ryusei may be one of their most popular introductions between the US and Japan. Absolutely outstanding plant. The original one is a high graft there on an old tree, and it is huge now. I think they did graft it to a pretty good sized plant to begin with. Really cool. You can go stand under it. It's one of the entrance ways to this garden when you walk into Kobayashi Momiji. One of my favorite things to see when I go visit them in Japan. Ryusen is classic for so many reasons, guys. It is in that Nakakomoto weeping legacy. It's one of those trees that's came down as a lineage from that. It's durable, it's heat tolerant, it's going to go great in high heat exposures all the way up to zone 8. This is going to work zones 5 through 9, and it's a great one for the container garden. You can put this in a big pot, and it does very well in so many different settings.
Now this is one I like to stake up to about 6 feet, so you can take some of these high grafts, get there a little quicker, let them cascade straight down from that. This is an outstanding selection to do that. You get this fountain-like effect. But if you take one like this and just plant it in the ground, you're going to get this low weeping, almost like ground cover. And it'll create these little mountains across the ground. It's a real fun way and a different way to try growing ryusen.
Take some of these low grafts, put them in a sombrero hat, wear them as a cap. I love it. You want to make a ryusen hat?
All right, guys, next up, we have Acer palmatum Ghost Dancer.
Yeah, not an official member of the Ghost series, but this one did come out around the same time. Talon's neighbor actually found Ghost Dancer, so he kind of counts it. It's kind of like the Care Bear cousins. It's not quite a teddy bear, but it's in the family. We're going to count it.
It's kind of close. Now, the thing I like about Ghost Dancer is it has a nice purple border and purple tipping on a reticulated creamy white foliage with green veins. The contrast between all three put on a dynamic display in the early spring. This is a tree that'll get 6 to 8 foot in 10 years, and it gives some really nice colors of yellows to oranges in the fall.
Absolutely exquisite reticulation on this one. I love reticulated maples. This one has that pastelish color. I love what it brings to the table. Giving it some early morning sun, late day shade can bring that color later into the summer. Really shows out. Typically this one's around 10 foot in 10 years, so right at a foot of growth a year. Great growth rate to it. Talon still loves this one and produces it, even though it's not an official member of the Ghost series. It's one that's near and dear to him. It is that Ghost series adjacent plant. And Ghost Dancer, just a great plant overall.
Next up, we've got Acer palmatum nebula. This is one of the new Ghost selection by Talon Buchholz after he quit putting the name Ghost on them. It is an outstanding upright form. They give you some nice pink colors in there with some lime green in that. It is an outstanding tree.
This one leaves out in the spring, kind of a purplish color with a greenish eye to it. We've actually shown some pictures of nebulas that look like that. It was pretty cool. One time we were visiting a science center, and the guy was actually outside looking at a nebula. The colors on this one are a little reminiscent of the Milky Way Nebula, which is kind of cool. Really fun color pattern on this one. It's darker on the border sometimes than it is in the eye, which is also how a nebula looks. Really cool plant. Absolutely love this one. It's a great grower at typically over a foot of growth a year. This one's going to work zones 5 through 9. Keep it in some late day shade to hold those colors later into the season. For my money, it's one of the most colorful Japanese maples. I think it's absolutely outstanding and actually overachieves some of that original Ghost series.
It really does. It has one of the best fall colors of any of the new Ghosts. It's been a strong, vigorous grower for us. For me, it's an outstanding tree, and those colors are just such a great addition out there in the landscape. Give us some protection from the hot afternoon sun to really peak the colors of some morning sun, but that afternoon sun will hold that reticulation longer throughout the season.
All right, y'all, so next up on the table, we've got an Area 51 introduction. This is Acer Pomatum dissectum watermelon. Now, this is a lace leaf that comes out with a bit of pinkish green in the early spring.
That later pink goes to a green, and it has this nice cascading habit. We said, hey, it's got that pink color, it's got some green color on it. Let's go with watermelon.
I really like how this one kind of blushes some shades of pink over top of the green, even throughout the summer. It's a 5x5 lace leaf that'll go to some excellent yellows to oranges in the fall. But that pink blushing over this tree really adds something extra. It's in that waterfall vein, but watermelon really brings it with that two-tone coloration.
J.D. Veritree says take these lace leaves, plant them on a hill. You can accentuate their shape. You can really enjoy seeing that cascading umbrella habit, and you can definitely do that with watermelon as well.
This one looks great in a big container. I love lace leaves in a pot. You can kind of see up into them like Tim was mentioning, and it really adds something extra texturally. Absolutely outstanding plant though. If you pair this with that Jedo orange we had earlier, you're going to absolutely love the contrast and the shades the two can have, from the oranges to the pinks of this one. Absolutely outstanding plant, and some great sizes on these lace leaf watermelons. What do we got next, Tim?
It looks like we've got the claw of the dragon.
We've got Acer Siboldianum Shiryu no Sume.
Now this is a really cool Acer Siboldianum. The leaf shape looks like a claw of a dragon. It's so interesting on the texture of the foliage itself. Being an Acer Siboldianum, there's nothing else quite like it. Has a really nice upright form and gives you some really nice yellows to oranges in the fall.
This one is outstanding. It's a green to an evergreen midsummer kind of color, so a little bit darker than most, which is kind of typical for Siboldianums to have a little bit more of that blue-green kind of color. I've had this one be some outstanding shades of orange in the fall. Last year it was a little bit more red, but I've had some outstanding shades of orange which look really cool on that leaf shape. The Claw of the Dragon aptly describes this one because you have that unique leaf shape on a Siboldianum. It's really cool looking. It kind of looks like little claws going on. It looks really nice when it hits that fall color.
I know when Matt and I went and visited Japan, this is one of the trees they were bragging about. It was really newly introduced in Japan at the time as well, and it is really new here in the United States. It really gives you that, like you said, that blue-green, that silver-green color in the spring, so the color stands out on itself. But this is a tree for Acer Siboldianum, really brings something extra special with that unique shape.
Shout out to Chris Adlett. He's been really impressed with this one and its durability in sun in coastal North Carolina. So speaks a little bit to its durability. Siboldianums are just fun trees. I mean, it's something different. It's something outside the box. I absolutely love what they bring. Check out the Claw of the Dragon. This one is going to give you something unique texture-wise in your garden.
Guys, that was 10 of our 20 trees that we're listing today on our website. If you want to check out the other 10, sign up for a weekly email on MrMaple.com. We've got a weekly email that goes out. It's actually bi-weekly, every Tuesday and Thursday, and you can see the full listing of those 20 trees. Guess what? They also get listed today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on our website.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.